Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Kern High School District's live exclusive coverage of high school sports. This is the Kern High Network. We are live at Arvin High School in the Garden in the Sun, and this is not the opening kickoff. The score is 7-7. We had some technical difficulties, but now we're back. So it's a kickoff, but Kenny Calvin, my partner, 7-7. We see some good stuff already.
Absolutely. We had an opportunity to go down to the field, which is abnormal for us because we're stuck in the box. You know, it's a traditional rivalry that spans decades. So, you know, as I was walking in, I was telling one of the hometown sports people from out of Arizona how special this football town is from a, you know, player perspective of John Tarver, Hernan Santiago, and some of the North High and Arvin High teammates that I've had. So expect some good football tonight.
Hey, I'm going to unload on our audience tonight. I'm a graduate of 1983. I grew up about 500 yards from here. This was my stomping grounds. And finally, after a decade, our boss, Stan Green, finally throws me a bone and lets me come back out to Arvin. And I think the conventional wisdom was, Vance, you talk about Arvin when it's Foothill, Golden Valley. You'll somehow talk about Arvin. So I'm going to talk about the Big A tonight, but how about the Big N? A touchdown to answer back to this Arvin team, and we are tied at 7. We're just underway here in the second quarter. We got a really, really nice football game. Arvin on your left in the red, heading south, north in the white. Here's a run play to Daniel Noriega. Noriega takes a big hit, and he's still on his feet and gets to the 40-yard line. First down, Bears.
Yeah, and the linebacker, Kason Rush from North High, getting up a little woozy. Great job finishing the run on that jet sweep. Be first and 10, Arvin.
Again, welcome everybody. Just a hair behind schedule here. We're just starting the second quarter, 7-7. I'm Vance Palm with Kenny Calvin. You've got an Arvin Bear, a BHS driller, Kevin Willey, who's been working feverishly the last hour to get us up. And trust me, everybody, not his fault whatsoever. Just a technical snag, and he has us up now. Kevin Willey, the West High Viking, and perfect timing. We have a timeout by the North High Stars, gives us a chance to kind of catch our breath. First drive, the first score was the Arvin Bears, and their quarterback, Anthony Sarabia, he just kept chewing up yards. A very deliberate yeoman's-style touchdown. They just kept grinding. A couple of big blocks in the open field here, a crackback that kind of changed the complexion of the first quarter. Arvin gets a score. But here comes North High School and Mark Kai Shaw. Ooh, Kenny, number one for the Stars. Yikes.
You know, we had a game last week where it was a team full of players who all look the same. When you see this Shaw kid, he actually stands out from the rest of the players as he's standing next to him.
He's not the same.
And he's already put some work in on the offensive end for the North High Stars. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. It's one of the games that you see that doesn't jump out at you from a stats perspective and how well guys are played coming into games, but these games are always good from a perspective of just tough kids playing a good brand of football and throwing out the records.
First and 10, reverse to the far side. Really nice play, and how about this? The speedster, and that's Daniel Noriega, gets down to the 10-yard line. So Coach Edgar Morris decided to really open things up tonight. He did tell me in pregame, I was down there, and I said, Edgar, great to see you, bud. We have our great Arvin Bear kind of reunion down there and talked for a while. And I said, man, how many years for you? He goes, Vance, I've been here 30 years, 21 as the head coach. Not bad for a guy that's, 40 years old. He started at age 10. But he just said, Vance, we run a lot. We're heavy on the run. So expect that. And they've done a good job with it. First and goal from the 5.
Absolutely. Noriega's averaging 2 touchdowns a game so far. So you see why with all that speed.
They stay in between the tackles. Oh, what a beautiful run by Jonathan Moreno. And just like that, Moreno goes in. Touchdown, Arvin.
Runs like that don't happen without a couple pancakes. You see Andon Sampson, D lineman, getting up very late because there was a guard and tackle that came and cleaned his clock as they went through that A-gap. Touchdown Bears. And that offense looks pretty efficient.
Salazar to come in and kick. He is also a running back. He wears number 50. Kenny loved it earlier in the drive, in the first quarter, they handed the ball off to Joshua Salazar. He wore number 50. He gained like 15 yards, a couple of big first downs, and then Kenny illuminated me on his very first football number. What was it?
60.
And you were like, what, a 6'4", 290-pound center?
I was about a 5'3", 100-pound center.
Number 60. I'd have loved to see that.
Oh, man, I'm telling you.
Did the jersey go down to your knees?
Oh, it was crazy, man. I couldn't believe it.
All right, PAT good by the Bears, 14-7. Again, everybody, welcome to the Kern 9 Network. So glad to have you with us. I'm Vance Palm with Kenny Calvin. And, of course, KW1, Kevin Willie. We are out in the garden in the sun, the beautiful Arvin, California. It's where I was raised, and I am so stoked to be out here again, standing high atop this announcer's booth at Frank Barley Field. And just a wonderful old school. It used to be the school that had all the students come out. You know, the only other school was the Kern High, which was Bakersfield High School.
Right.
And this was a school that had a lot of students bust in from the outlying areas to come to school here. It's got a very rich tradition, rich history of athletics, music. The Crimson Bear Brigade, the marching band here, they owned the entire Central Valley for decades in marching band until they went over to West, and Kevin Willie and those guys took over with Mike Bone. So a ton of fun for me to be here tonight, of course. Here's the kickoff.
You know, the funniest thing I heard all day was the fact that there was 6 Tarver brothers that got D1 football scholarships out of this Arvin place.
Are you kidding me? Those were my idols. I would come down here in the field. I was either a ball boy or a towel boy, or I was whatever. And there was Roger Tarver, Timmy Tarver, Danny Tarver,
right.
Joey Tarver, Bernard Tarver.
Oh,
then you had the Kennedys, Junior Kennedy. All the Kennedy brothers were out here. Then all the Showers. You had Greg Showers, Jeff Showers, Brad Showers. They're just, you know, it never ends. All the Hallam, Steve Hallam, Cheesy Hallam, Claw Hallam. I mean, it never ends.
Rich tradition.
Yeah. The Satterfields, the Chamberlains. I could go forever, but I won't. 1st and 10 from the 29. Under 10 to go here in this first half. 14-7 Arvin Bears. North in white, going right to left.
North is 0-2 right now, but they have some athletes.
And here's one of them. Markai Shaw goes out of bounds about the 33-yard line. I spoke with Richie Bolin before the game. Like, he said, Coach, you guys healthy? He goes, as healthy as we can be. You know, they had games canceled. Couldn't play a couple games. And then you've got Coach Mara said, Vance, our first game, we had tons of sophomores that we pulled up from JV, and we looked like a JV team the first couple of games. But now both teams, Kenny, look pretty crisp.
And that's why you got to take your hat off to both coaches, no matter how well the records look. You fielding a unit, you're getting guys out here to get better. You know, you're not expected to win state championships at this level right now, but what it is just building men. So applaud both of these guys in that aspect.
They throw. Haven't seen some throwing tonight, very much of it.
Oh,
the ball's fumbled.
It.
Oh, goodness. I think the coaching staff thinks, from Arvin, thinks that's a completion. He had it for a couple steps. But Evan Siffing dropped it.
Yeah, that was very interesting because it looked like he took about 4 steps. But if he's bobbling that whole time, incomplete, bringing up a 3rd and 4 for North. And they got to try to get something going because I'll tell you what, Arvin's offense has been pretty crisp through the first half. 3rd and 4.
It's a big play here. Arvin looking to get this football back.
3rd and 4.
Here's an opportunity for Bennett to try to make a play with his feet as well if nothing's open. Because I seriously doubt if they're going to run. And he's tipped off the top.
And it's a first down. Caught out there by Siffing. He's still on his feet. Hey, here come the Stars.
And they're very fortunate to get that because that quick hitch was tipped at the line, but not tipped enough. It's going to be 1st and 10 for North.
Gets the ball down to the 44-yard line.
Coming down to the 9-minute mark here.
Gain of 9 yards on the play. 1st and 10.
Shotgun spread set for the North Stars. Arvin look like they're in a man look, and you see that safety coming over to match this trips open set. And that lets you know that they're in man with no safety help in the middle.
1st and 10, ball at the 44. They give it to Shaw. Shaw makes a couple of nice
He's
moves. Look
here.
out. He's gone. He's gone. I don't think they'll catch him. You never know. It's going to have to be a dive. No, they cannot get this gentleman, Marquez Shaw, gone.
VP, they go with the RPO read zone from the 45-yard line. Excellent blocking by that trip set on the outside. But that's just amazing speed.
He made a great move, too. He made one good cut.
Absolutely. One good cut and that speed up the sideline. He actually ate up the angle from the DB. Touchdown, North Star.
You said he was gone, and he had a long way to go still. You saw it. So Markai Shaw, the junior running back DB, Kenny and I were down on the field for a little while until we had confirmation that we were up and live and going. And so we went down just for a couple minutes to get a field eye view there. And I said, man, check out number 1. He said, yeah, that's who Arvin's worried about. Tied at 14 with 8.5 to go in the first half. Nice ball game here.
We got some fireworks going.
Great to be here tonight. Week 5. Getting closer and closer to league play. The North High Stars, by the way, from the old school South Yosemite League, the SYL, and the Arvin Bears from as equally old school South Sequoia League. So as we've talked about, these are two older schools going at it.
You know, and back when I was playing, our leagues were still condensed. I want to say 8 high schools at the most. Arvin and North were just as tough as anybody, and we had a game here my senior year where we only escaped because Desmond Rufus made a tackle on the 2-yard line with 16 seconds left when we were ranked number 3 in the state. So it just goes to show no matter what the records look like, these guys are going to play tough. And I definitely got to give a shout-out to the Rufus family as they bury their son tomorrow. Devastating news, but one of my greatest memories playing here came from Mr. Desmond Rufus.
Also, you talk about the Yaksich clan. Timmy Yaksich, his son Steven Yaksich was on that Valley Championship team with the great Hernan Santiago, the freight train, whose son right now is an absolute beast for Centennial, a sophomore, wears number 9, and Jackson Santiago is taking that Arvin blood and making it work for Centennial. We're tied at 14.
Absolutely. Hernan Santiago, my college team captain when I was a freshman, taught me how to be great. Never give up.
That ball's out! Fumble, and North High gets it. First of all, a huge hit.
Wow.
Big contact at the 24, and the ball pops out on the 25. Who do you have, Kenny?
Moises Lopez with the fumble. Amazing job and amazing tackle. He went low, but when someone's going at your knees like that, you kind of lose consciousness of holding on to that football.
Yeah, I didn't see who made the hit for North, but it was a big one, and Lopez coughed it up at the 25. It was a big hit, big contact. Who made that hit, Coach? Janreka Mappa. Mappa made the tackle. By the way, so fortunate to have great coaching staff up here next to us and cameramen. Everywhere we go, just love all the camaraderie up here. First and 10, ball at the Arvin 25. From the shotgun, they give it to Markai Shaw again. He's just looking for somewhere to go.
Oh, look at that move.
He cuts back, makes another big move. Oh, he had the goal. He had the goal line. I don't think it's going to matter, Kenny.
Wow.
He had the cone. He had the pylon, but he changed up a little bit. I thought he had it, and Carson Bennett hands it off to Shaw. Shaw goes right, cuts back, and look out, everybody, a budding star on our hands tonight.
I'll tell you what, I've done a lot of hours traveling the country as a college recruiter. And the move that kid just made in between the tackles, that was kind of Le'Veon Bell-esque, the way he slowed down and used his vision to cut back opposite of the field. He actually could have had a touchdown there, but he was still wanting to juke some more people. It was looking so pretty, but now he gets it.
Walks in. Shaw just kind of walks in. I had my pregame chat with Coach Maras, as I said, and we talked for a little bit, and I said, what do you know about the Stars? He says, I know they got a running back that that we all are going to know about here before long. And obviously he's talking about number 1, Markai Shaw. So right now Shaw off to a wonderful start, but it's a 7-point ball game if this PAT goes through. Quarterback Carson Bennett hands the ball off and says, do what you got to do.
Wow.
All this set up by a fumble caused by Mappa. And the Stars haven't had a lot of games under their belt. They're 0-2, but they came ready to play tonight out here in the Garden of the Sun.
Amazing job by the offense capitalizing. That PAT is going to be good. And like we said, this is a classic rivalry And this turned into a nice little shootout in this first half. 21-14 with 7:49 to play in the first half is crazy.
35 points already. That's what you want.
Wow. But I got to go back to that move of the young man Shaw. I don't like throwing out comparisons a lot, but the way he hit the hole, not at high speed and kind of slowed down, shifted and put that foot in the ground and headed to that pylon, he reminded me of Aaron McDonald right there. Classic driller, BC Renegade and Fresno State running back, whose daughter was drafted in the first round of the WNBA draft this past summer. So pretty talented family.
Kenny Calvin and I were high atop. Oh, how about another name? The Damerons. Dwayne Dameron coached here. Lyle, Brent, and Paul all played here. The Dameron tree, all Arvin Bears. High atop the Dameron deck last Saturday night up at Bakersfield College, we saw a plethora of local high school graduates up there playing for the Renegades, and they took care of business against a deep and talented El Camino squad. Renegades off to a 2-0 start.
It was beautiful to see that as well.
Okay, here we go. Kickoff. North kicking to Arvin. A little 7-iron, probably going to go out of bounds, and it does. So just a little too much heat on it.
And those are the kind of things that give coaches gray hair. I talk about it all week. Or every week, I should say. You're hoping to do that to minimize good field position, and when you're kicking it straight out of bounds,
I just had too much on it, right?
Yeah, you got to take something off of that.
Defeats the purpose.
All right, you actually you gave him 10 more yards than where you kicked it out of bounds.
Okay, Edgar Maris and his coaching staff back on the field, Kenny. Back on the field.
Yeah, I talked about Arvin's offense. They look very consistent and like a well-oiled machine, but when you get a turnover on special teams, that can put you behind the clock, and now they're trailing after leading early.
7:49 left in the first half. They want to throw. They lob it up there. It's up there, and it is caught. Oh! And it's caught. He's still on his feet. Jesus Rojas with a big catch. And the ball was wobbly. And they're going to say no.
Oh.
Holding on the Bears.
Wow, because I was about to say, Maxwell Partain, you got mossed. And believe it or not, last week a South High football player was on ESPN getting mossed.
We called that game, and one of the Spartans from South High made it to the – he got mossed. And Kyle Wiley, who came up and spent some time with us at halftime, sent it over the next day, and he said, hey – and of all things, it was Cornford on the call. I said, make this call here. And he was so mesmerized by it, he didn't make a call. I'm like, dude,
you missed out on his ESPN.
Mr. Cornford, as kindly as ever, just kind of looked at me, and I just looked at him. And I think Kevin piped in to say something about me negatively. So either way, we got around it. 1st and 20 after the hold. They come around again. He's got some blocking. Look out.
Oh, my goodness.
What a
way
close.
to field a hole.
What a close by Mario Gonzalez. And I mean,
wow.
Mario came from the far side.
Woo! Boy, I tell you, that boy filled the hole like a madman downhill. They've ran that RPO fake read zone to the inside with that end around a couple times, and that was just a great job filling from the opposite side.
Wow, what a hit. I mean, you're talking about Mario Gonzalez was on the far hash, and he made a beeline from the far hash all the way over to right below us and hits Noriega. We've got a timeout on the field. We've got a star shaken up. 6:52 remaining here in the first half. 21-14, North High School over the Arvin Bears by 7 right now. I'm Vance Palm with Kenny Calvin. Kevin Willie, we're a pleasure to have you guys out here tonight. Thanks for hanging with us. Had a couple of snafus technically here in the first quarter, but we returned on a kickoff when it was 7-7, so it's kind of like basically the beginning, right? It's tied. Kevin, good evening. How are you? Are you able to talk tonight, or what? You sure?
No, here I am.
Kevin, good evening.
Maybe that's how come I didn't have ambient audio.
You've done, I don't know, let's say 6 years of these, average 25 events with football, volleyball, basketball. So you're talking 125, 130 of these. Every once in a while we get a little bit of a challenge, don't we?
Yeah. It hasn't been too much though we've got two usually have 2 games going every Friday night. Today's kind of a strange one. It's on a Thursday night. But yeah, we surprisingly haven't had too many technical problems.
And last week, what a game. We were at
Second and
Golden
26.
Valley. You,
Ball
myself,
at
and
the
Rich, we only
Arvin
called them
window.
the REBLS one time each. Not bad.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. Like I said, I didn't talk much.
Yeah,
So.
you had the edge. You had the edge.
He's busy, ladies and gentlemen.
Always. All right, they do it again, Kenny. They go to the left side, and they just can't do it. And that was a really, really nice play right there. And
Jonathan Moreno on a carry, taking the ball to the left.
I think that was Mateo Ramirez that made that tackle from behind. I think. I'm not quite sure just yet. Wow, what a great play. Great effort out there. And Moreno was off to the races, he thought. You know, when you're running, you think you're gone. I'm out of here because you won't see anybody in front of you. Next thing you know.
Well, the one thing I like about Arvin's offense is it's not overcomplicated. They do a lot of the same things from different formations, but ultimately they're a if it ain't broke, don't fix it type offense. And they've been doing pretty well in the run game, but when you get those penalties early in those downs, it's a setback, and now they're behind the sticks. 3rd and long.
Under 6 to go in the half. As Kenny mentioned, 3rd and long, 3rd and 25. They toss it out here, and it's almost picked off. And they're going to say the ball hit the ground, but I'll tell you this. Xarion Wallace-Foreman was making his case that it never hit the grass and that it was intercepted. So now the Bears will have to punt. That play was a little discombobulated, Kenny.
That might be the ugliest rocket screen I ever seen. Because it seemed like the outside receiver did like a little weave to
weird.
get behind the blocking of the slot receivers, and it's just bad timing. 4th and long. And guess who's back?
Yeah, back to receive, but they need to get their 11th player on. Ironically, number 11, Jesus Rojas, runs on. So
Number 7, Jan Rickamappa back deep to return for North.
Okay, so Jan Rickamappa, he's already made a big hit.
Oh.
That's almost blocked.
And it's down by the Bears inside Bear territory at the 46-yard line. So here come the North High Stars, and they're feeling it right now, 21-14. And they have a superstar on their hands in Markai Shaw. Where's jersey number 1? He stands on the A on the logo. You can see him right there. And he is a junior, Kenny. Look out. Look out.
What's impressed me most by Shaw is the fact that he's not a blazing speed guy, but he's been making some good decisions with his eyes.
Yeah, you're right. We'd say the same thing. We're on the same track there. His vision is incredible. He makes cuts that just leave guys completely baffled.
Shotgun spread set.
They come at Bennett, and they pay the price. A good 4-yard gain out there by Mario Gonzalez, and had it not been for a really nice tackle out there by Andres Alcaraz, he would have been gone.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with both running backs on both sides of the football. But I'm going to say if North can actually extend this drive right here, I think the confidence and momentum is all the way to the Star side.
Well, they're 0-2 looking for that first win, so that would go a long, long ways.
Second and 6. Shotgun spread set against a 2-deep safety look.
Under 5.
Oh,
How about this? It's a big break, and he is maybe gone. The Bears wrap him up. He takes a shoulder nudge from one Bear, and then the Bear that makes the tackle pays the price. Yeah, maybe like a hip pointer or something. I don't know. But Markai Shaw carrying Bears bouncing off of him. And now we have a down Bear at the 8-yard line, and he's a big, big fella, that running back. He is taking guys down that are trying to tackle him. We want to thank everybody at Arvin High School, by the way. A very, very special thank you to everyone at Arvin that's welcomed us here. First of all, the principal, Ed Watts. Hi, Ed. Athletic director, Ralph Gonzalez. Athletic trainer, Ramon Carrillo. Of course, the head coach, Edgar Mares. Assistant coaches, Chris Carlos, Robert Riley, and Vic Garcia. Thank you, everybody, for making us feel so warm and welcome. Looky here, Kenny, one of my mentors.
wow.
One of my mentors, Greg Showers, sends me a nice photo. The 1975 returning Letterman beating West High School 28-14. Look at some of these guys. There's
Wow.
there's Joey Tarver.
Wow.
And there's Greg Showers, number 51 right there. He looks like
Greg.
Butkus. He looks like Dick Butkus. Look at all these guys. Look at that Kent Stenrup. You know
Classic.
Johnny Stenrup from Garces?
Yep.
Climbed all those mountaintops. There's his dad, Bjorn, number 33. Look at these guys.
Wow.
What year was that?
That was 1975.
Wow.
That was long before I got there.
2 years. Thank you, Greg. Nice to know that one of my mentors and one of the all-time greats, and I grew up playing sports with all the Showers guys. Greg a little older,
man.
but Brad and I used to stand at that church right there. He would stand on one side of the steeple, I'd stand on the other, and we would throw footballs, and we had to react wherever it was.
Major love for the Showers family.
Brad got inducted into the Arvin Hall of Fame, and he said, Arvin taught me all about everything, man. You kidding me? So here we go. Nice to know that Bears off the field, a little shook up, but here we go. 1st and 10, 4.5 to go. Here come the Stars. They are pounding the ball. Bennett rolls to his right, tosses one out. Here comes a good hit. He was waiting for it. The catch was made, but I can tell you this, Daniel Noriega had a beat on it. Flag on the play.
Very late. Maybe a personal foul, face mask variety.
Well, that couldn't be a play where they say the receiver didn't have time to see. Oh, it's a face mask. It is a face mask, Kenny. Nice, good eyes, my man.
Rare occasion.
Inadvertent face mask defense.
No, but that was just a great job by that defense being ready in that zone. Looked like they were in a soft 2 outside. That flat route that's going outside, running right into them, and they were lucky that wasn't a pick to the house for 95 yards.
4th and 1.
Trips open set for North High. You can expect Shaw.
Goal from the 1.
1st and goal.
Ball's on the ground. Fumble!
Oh, my goodness.
And he coughed it forward. The scoreboard is wrong, by the way. It's 1st and goal. Now it's going to be 2nd and goal.
And they're still trying to figure it out.
And that ball was coughed up on the run. 2nd down. I think he's been scoring so much, his eyes were just looking at where am I going to run and hand the ball to the official after my touchdown. He took off without the ball.
Loose ball recovered at
3:26 remaining to play in the first half. The Stars started off a little sluggish, looking to pound it in and go up 2 touchdowns for 3 unanswered.
Here we go. We got it right here. 2nd and goal from the 2. Lots of 2s up there. From behind center, first time tonight, Bennett's behind center. They give it to Shaw. Shaw's wrapped up.
Great
How
job
about
by
this?
that defense.
Nice tackle out there by Joshua Salazar. Salazar wrapped him up.
I told a story about a goal line stance earlier. It looks like these Arvin Bears heard me. 3rd and short, or 3rd and goal from the 2.
How about this? 2:47 and counting.
They're back in that shotgun double
Yeah,
set.
they've got everybody split out. I'm surprised they don't just snap it to him. Oh, Bennett's going to try to take it in, and no way. He is stopped.
Way.
Carson Bennett was looking for some room, and the sophomore quarterback just ran into a couple of big Bears, and that was a really, really nice hit. Speaking of number 51, Greg Showers, how about that? Javier Morales hit him head on. Nice stop.
It looks like they're a little tentative back there the last 2 plays, even at the mesh point with the previous play, undecided on how they want to hit a hole. There's not a lot of room for indecision inside the 5-yard line. It's going to be 4th and goal, and they're going for it.
Big play here for both teams, most certainly the Arvin Bears. Under 2 minutes to go. It was 1st and goal from the 4. Here comes the 3rd time. I wonder if they'll just snap it straight to Shaw. You never know. Bennett, hard count, nobody jumps, nice job. They want to throw. They toss it, and it is a beautiful play, and it's caught. Mario Gonzalez, well executed, and the coaching staff wants to push off. They can't believe he shoved off and got free. Coach Carlos and Coach Maris, they didn't like it. They thought for sure it was just a shove off, and that's why he was wide open. But Coach Maris and his staff are going to voice their frustration. They are heated. They thought that Mario Gonzalez just shoved off and had all that room.
The questionable action that happens in that area of the line of scrimmage is that if the pass is thrown behind the line of scrimmage or at the line of scrimmage, a lot of that contact is allowed.
It's right, it's just
because it's still just like a running play because it's happening behind the line of scrimmage. So when coaches see that, it's kind of like they're not educated on the rule from the aspect of the play happening at the line of scrimmage and getting that rub route. You see it in the NFL all the time.
Coach Mara is out there with the white hat, and he's discussing this quite vociferously with the staff. He's letting them know out there. And by the way, good staff, really nice staff. And it's Mark Roberts, the referee, Brian Landis, the umpire, head linesman is Randall Bladar, line judge Steve Laird, and back judge Brandon Snyder.
Here's my issue with that timeout, though, Vance. It's after a score. You still have 1:38 remaining to play in the half. You just took a timeout from your offense that could have helped extend the drive to kind of get back into this football game. Not saying it's a blowout, but you are down 2 touchdowns, and now you just wasted a timeout that you could have used to help you on the offensive end. So, sometimes you got to chamber those emotions, wait until that referee gets over to the side, and then you cuss him out. Ask Nick Ellis. I used to give Nick the blues.
Hey, Nick got so mad at me one time he turned around to give me a tee in basketball, and he said, timeout. He called timeout on me. He got so mad, but I love him like a brother.
I
Here's
love
the
Nick.
PAT. And it's up and it's good by Evan Siffing. Speaking of Nick, said hi to him tonight. And Nick's down there always enwrapped in everything that happens with Kern County Athletics. So now all of a sudden, Kenny, they've doubled them up. It's 28-14. And the North High School Stars, under the direction of Richie Bolin and his coaching staff. I saw Coach Silver, Coach Napier, Coach Sasso.
Coach Nate. That's my guy right there.
A lot of big names over there. And they're up 28-14 now. 1:38 remaining in this first half.
21 unanswered points by the North Stars as they were trailing 14-7.
No, it was 7-7. And we kicked off at the beginning of the.
Yes, and then
but it was 7-0.
Yeah,
wow, so 28 straight.
Well, Arvin came back and scored immediately after they tied it up to go up 14-7, and then North just started rolling.
Well, Arvin with 1:38, 2 timeouts. The talent, they have it. They've had good field position. I mean, they haven't been buried back in their own territory all night in the first half. So if they can get a nice little start right here in this return. But boy, this North High Stars team is coming to play tonight. They are tough. They are bringing it. Nice to see Greg Kerr here, the Dean of Local Sports, Gary Osip here.
Hall of Famers.
Yep. Oh, a big boot, and that's gone. So they'll start it at a first down here. And look at
flex.
Siffing.
You see him flexing out there?
Siffing, he hammered that thing. That's a 60-yard boot. He's stoked.
Well, getting back to Arvin, it's like we said, they've done some good things on offense, but then you have a turnover on special teams, and then you come out and get a holding penalty after you threw a fade for 45 yards,
Tough.
And then you're just starting to go backwards. North High has the momentum right now.
No question. So now, if you're Arvin, you certainly want to take care of this football, limit the damage. 42 points already scored in the first half. We're getting their money's worth. And now it's going to be a timeout North High. They've only got 10 players on the field.
Timeout North.
That's what happens when you start to feel yourself and you're up 2 touchdowns. You're like, hey, I only need 10.
Okay, you, my friend Kenneth, you and what do you got going tomorrow night?
Say again?
Say again? Okay.
You said, who do we got going tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, is it you and Rick Van Horn?
We have Tranquility
at
Miramonte.
Wow, what a
game.
What a game. Tranquility at Miramonte, 7 p.m. kickoff. You and Rick Van Horn.
Great job by both administrations in the district itself getting that game scheduled after Kern Valley having to pull out due to COVID. It's 3 teams off this weekend. I want to say Centennial, Kennedy, and Kern Valley all having issues with COVID.
And then at Independence tomorrow night, you got Frontier at Independence. The great Tom Myers,
Titan
Tom, and Rich Cornford, and none other than Kevin Willie will be at Independence High School tomorrow night. So Tranquility at Miramonte with Kenny and Rick Van Horn, Frontier at Independence.
I almost thought tomorrow was Saturday for a second. Oh, amazing screen setup. If he can get through this block, he might chop out, but great pursuit.
Sure was. Good tackle out there by Carson rush, but how about that? George Morales, the big fella, the tight end, defensive end, and that's exactly what the doctor ordered for Arvin right there. Good start, but that clock is racing, my man.
Yeah, and we've seen Arvin be pretty balanced and dynamic on the offensive side of the football. You just got to avoid the mistakes and keep the momentum going. 1st and 10.
They're at their own 35.
Jet sweep. Oh my goodness.
What a hit. Big hit by Andon Sampson.
Oh my goodness. I want to talk to Sampson. Amazing hit. Andon Sampson, the senior D lineman. Wow.
Big hit. Moreno, for a brief moment, said, hey, nobody in front of me. I'm out of here. Bam. And with 34 seconds left, you take care of the ball here for the Bears. They try to put it up, flush out of the pocket. He does toss it out there, and it's caught by Carici. Carici, can he get out of bounds? No, he stays in bounds, and he gets mugged and actually gets thrown out of bounds. So good play, Carici, with a nice catch. He's a sophomore, and you look at this roster. I mean, you just go down the Arvin roster for grades, 11, 11, 10, 10, 10, 10, 11, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. A very, very young football team. 17 seconds remains here in this first half. It is a 28-14 lead for the North High Stars. They have really picked things up here. Started 0-2, and as they get closer and closer to league play, they may have started to put the pieces together, Casey.
Yeah, you look at a football team like this with a running back that they have, you don't see them as 0-2. But nonetheless, going back to the point you made about the Arvin offense, or the Arvin roster, you just showed me 10 underclassmen out of the first 20 names. That tells me that there's going to be success in the future for the Arvin Bears, because they've actually played pretty well through this first half. If you take away that turnover and that penalty that took away the 60-yard fade pass.
17 sophomores. Kenny.
Wow.
17 sophomores. And when I was talking to Coach Mares, I said, well, it bodes well for the future. And, he gave me that look like, yeah, tonight, we're young. All right, here we go. 17 seconds left in this first half. They want to throw, and it's, intended out there again for George Morales, but boy, he had guys all over him.
One of the things we teach as defensive coaches in the secondary is running underneath the route in the path of the football.
Right.
You don't always have to get a hand on the football to make a play. Your positioning can do that for you, and that was a great job by that defensive back.
Number 24, Brody Napier, among those on the
Looks like Brody Napier was the underneath coverage guy, playing strong safety outside backer.
What a North High name, Napier. Nice to see Tony over there. Said hi to Coach Napier for a minute.
Oh, and he's playing middle linebacker. Now they're going with that.
Come back. The ball, I think his arm was hit. I think Sarabia's arm was hit.
Number 11.
And
this is Rojas, the intended receiver.
That's going to bring up, with 7.5 seconds left here. Well, that was dangerous. That ball floated up there for a minute. Like his elbow got hit. He released it, but the elbow got hit, so it wasn't a wobbler, but it just died.
Right, and one of the only sophomores on the North Stars roster, Sheflatowski, with that play in the backfield to get that pressure.
And their quarterback. Okay, 3rd and 10. 7.5 seconds remaining. And they stay on the ground this time.
Oh,
that's a nice play. What a good run that is. But they did. They get the call. They get the timeout call with a half a second. A half a second.
That was a gutsy call. But they've loved that end around. It's kind of almost like a power to the opposite side. But Jonathan Moreno, he's averaging 90 yards a game. And we see why on that carry.
Quick, speedy, makes great cuts. And so now the ball is at the North High 37-yard line. 1st and 10, but really the biggest factor here is a half a second.
Yeah, we might see a nice little Hail Mary.
Again, Tranquility at Miramonte tomorrow night. And then Kevin's going to be at Independence.
Independence Frontier.
That's why Titan Tom's got the night to call football. I will be up at, how about this? Double pass. They toss it down, and it's not a bad play.
Oh, nice catch.
So a double pass, and it works. And Rojas to Noriega. They complete it. They've got that in their toolbox now. It worked very, very well. So how about this? 28-14, and we are at halftime. We'll take a break. We may have an interview. I'm trying to get an interview with the athletic director, Ralph Gonzalez. Hopefully he can come up. If he makes it up, we're going to have a chat with the AD of Arvin. But I'll tell you what, 28-14 the score. We are at halftime on the Kern High Network at Arvin High.
We are these fields. We are these roots. We see the beauty in the everyday, with pride from where we came. We look ahead, to the places that pull us together, to the places that we call home. A new chapter begins now. Kern Schools Federal Credit Union is now Valley Strong Credit Union. Grow your possibilities. Visit valleystrong.com/grow to learn more.
Drumline selling pizza, $2 a slice, pepperoni, or ham and sausage. Also, girls soccer selling quesadilla tacos, $6, agua frescas, $2, and chicharron, $3.
It's wicked cool. It's our new aviation class. It gives kids a chance to break into the industry. There's a lot of careers in aviation. This class is a lot more than just flying planes.
We've learned so much already. We've learned how to take off. We've learned instrument flight rules. It's something everyone can do, I think.
Good. And you see, remember that horizon? Try to keep it parallel to your cockpit.
After the 2-year program, they're going to be able to take the knowledge test for their private pilot exam. I am a pilot. I've been in Bakersfield for 10 years. I worked as an instructor for 6 years and then became a corporate pilot. And I'm a teacher here. We have amazing equipment. Even flight schools don't have that much equipment.
You put a class like this somewhere at North High, and it's really preparing kids to succeed because it gives them a whole new set of opportunities they never knew that they had the chance to pursue. I'm proud to say that I'm from North High School and that we have administration that's willing to put the money into offering really, really neat programs like this and preparing kids to succeed.
A lot of more hands-on activities, a lot more about woodworking and what to do, how to make a career for myself.
It's not only for guys. I am actually learning how to make cupboards and put it together, like doors, cabinets. It's really fun, actually.
Yeah, well, It's really amazing to see their growth over the course of a year and how they can come in with no real skill at all and leave being able to actually produce furniture and cabinetry.
houses need cabinets, businesses. Having a pool of resources or kids that have some knowledge in the industry would be real good.
Pull down on that. Let's slide these up. Watch fingers.
It's changed a lot. What I'm seeing here is what it's going towards. The CNC equipment, computers. I could actually build cabinets out of this shop. It's state of the art. It really is.
I am constantly looking for students that have been through these programs. It's always nice to have a person that has some experience. It's a lot easier to train. I think we're fortunate in Bakersfield that the Kern High School District has invested in a program like this. I would encourage other businesses to partner up with the Kern High School District like I've done here, because this really shows you what can be done if business comes together with the Kern High School District.
This is where we're going to train the kids to actually get jobs in the industry. We're going to give them the basic tools that they need, also the skills that they need to understand where they fit into the industry.
All the animated things, because we have everything that we need in the scenes.
They are learning the principles of animation, Photoshop. They're learning how to animate in 2D and 3D. And when you swap to that shape, then you're just going to drag these over here.
The storyboard aspect of creating basically the skeleton of the story, and then just sort of directing people in my vision of what I want in the story. And it's also giving me the advantage of Mr. Plord, since he's worked at so many companies, being able to put it in my resume and be like, this is the art direction I've received.
I was shearing my lamb for fair. I have 2 lambs.
This lamb is stubborn.
Taking care of animals is you feed them twice a day, make sure they have water, walk them, make sure they're ready for fair.
Vet science is the first year before you can actually go into animal science, and it's a lot of like hands-on with the different animals, and you get to learn different things such as giving shots, castrating, all that fun stuff. For me, wanting to be a vet when I'm older, it prepares me. All the stuff that I'm learning in ag is definitely going to help me.
I'm in ag communications. Anything that you see on the Facebook page is what we do, and pictures, and we do all the posters that are around campus, anything that just promotes ag.
Our students are all part of the FFA organization, and through that we have a chapter officer team. We do monthly chapter meetings because we're trying to get them involved outside of class. They can find something that they're interested in, and they need something that's going to hook them so that they're ready for life after high school.
In animal care, the students learn a variety of things, whether it's tools or terms. In the veterinary field, they learn about the skeletal systems, animal nutrition, the housing, how to properly care for them. They also have the opportunity in the spring to actually go work at a veterinary hospital or at an animal shelter or a grooming and salon.
Animal restraint, weight and temperature, pulse, respiration, all of that I learned here.
They take a state certified test, and if they pass, they become a certified vet assistant right out of high school.
It's always hands-on, and so I think that's what really helps us, is that we're not just getting it from a textbook, we're actually doing these things, and we're actually practicing these things that we'll be doing in our future careers.
It's wicked cool. It's our new aviation class. It gives kids a chance to break into the industry. There's a lot of careers in aviation. This class is a lot more than just flying planes.
We've learned so much already. We've learned how to take off. We've learned instrument flight rules. It's something everyone can do, I think.
Good. And you see, remember that horizon? Try to keep it parallel to your cockpit.
After the 2-year program, they're going to be able to take the knowledge test for their private pilot exam. I am a pilot. I've been in Bakersfield for 10 years. I worked as an instructor for 6 years and then became a corporate pilot. And I'm a teacher here. We have amazing equipment. Even flight schools don't have that much equipment.
You put a class like this somewhere at North High, and it's really preparing kids to succeed because it gives them a whole new set of opportunities they never knew that they had a chance to pursue. I'm proud to say that I'm from North High School and that we have administration that's willing to put the money into offering really, really neat programs like this and preparing kids to succeed.
We're in manufacturing engineering. We design parts, 3D parts, 2D parts, we create assemblies.
It's helping me get training in all of this stuff, like the computer programs that we have here, the machines that we have here. We learn a lot of math in here, mostly geometry and fractions, because I love math. That's why I'm in this class.
Mr. Lemmy, he's a great instructor.
So the problem is this piece itself.
He really goes hands-on with us. He helps us as much as we can. We've learned a lot from him.
Right now we're supplying students that are skilled in the safety, basic operation of machine work, and then they also leave with some soft skills. They understand they have to be on time. They understand that they have to get up and talk to people. Most of them are walking out of here with a solid foundation in the entry level of a trade.
They can have a job anywhere they go because they have a basic understanding of what it's going to take to put products out that people are going to use.
Hopefully this is a good career for me. You know, end up doing something good, have a good life, and make some money.
Well, we're learning a lot, and especially with just the basic knowledge of what you would need for an entry-level job.
All the basic skills to be a medical assistant in a doctor's office or a clinic.
You're leaning on it, and that'll make a difference.
And then they also do on-the-job training, and they work in doctor's offices or clinics throughout Kern County. The kids are job ready, and many of them are employed before the end of the school year. They're promised a job, as well as they continue their education. We have many registered nurses out there and even physicians.
I'm thinking I want to be an anesthesiologist. So a lot of school, but it'll be worth it in the end. We're learning the different roles, what a game designer is, what they do, and how video games are made, and how to deconstruct them.
We're also going to be teaching the hard skills, which includes learning the Unreal Engine. And what the Unreal Engine is it's a game development tool that students will be able to use to make their very own video games. And this is something that actually industry professionals use every day to make some of the top-selling games. They're all the same size. You're all on the same plane. There's no undulating terrain or anything like that.
Our instructor, he's really amazing. He encourages everybody. He's really fun, and he makes learning fun.
So they've got top-of-the-line computers here, and they're set up to excel. I would be surprised if other students their age coming out of high school would have anywhere near the level of expertise that these guys are going to have.
a lot of more hands-on activities, a lot more about woodworking and what to do, how to make a career for myself.
It's not only for guys. I am actually learning how to make cupboards and put everything together, like doors, cabinets. It's really fun, actually.
Yeah, well, it's really amazing to see their growth over the course of a year and how they can come in with no real skill at all and leave being able to actually produce furniture and cabinets.
Back. Score is 28-14. We've got stats. Kenny's got the stats. North High's up by 2 touchdowns. Got a couple minutes here. We are joined by the athletic director for the Arvin High School Bears, and we are finally able to get him up. Here's a busy guy at halftime. Ralph Gonzalez, a very busy guy at halftime. 16th year as athletic director at my alma mater. How are things in Arvin?
Hey, it's great. It's great. You know, kind of crazy few years here lately, but it's always great to get back and see all the kids having fun, you know, and getting the teams going. But yeah, we're having a good time. We have a young team. Half this team are sophomores.
Well, you took the next point right out of my brain. I talked to Edgar before the game, and he just said, Vance, look at our roster, and they have 17 sophomores there. From an AD standpoint, that's obviously something that you have to be involved in getting those young boys up to a varsity level. How was that transition?
Well, I'd like to say there was a lot of work in that transition, but what we've been dealing with the last couple of years, it's been tough. We didn't see a lot of these kids. Some of these freshmen, sophomores, we just didn't see them on campus, so it's kind of like starting all fresh. So consequently, we had a lot of juniors and seniors that just didn't come back and play. So we had to dig deep and grab some sophomores.
Speaking with athletic director Ralph Gonzalez here at Arvin High School. Ralph, tell us about the Arvin High pride. I mean, I've got it just bubbling out of me all the time, but it's a special place, isn't it?
Well, it is, and I go way back. I mean, I'm an old guy, so I remember coming out here at class of '73 at Garces.
So you came with the Big Green came out here to play.
We did, and they were some good games out here, and we always knew it was going to be a dogfight out here, and that's what we like to think of. We want to make sure people come out here and know they've been in a game. And
Kenny Calvin played on those BHS teams. He went 4 years and never lost a game, and he said we were ranked in the top 10 of the whole state of California. We came out here, and had we not made an ankle tackle at the end of the game, we would have had a first loss out here. So he said, hey, every time I came out here, we knew we were in for a tough go.
Yeah, well, we'd like to get back to that type of mentality. That'd be good. And maybe, these young guys are playing hard, and our JV team hasn't lost a game yet, so maybe we get things going in that direction.
Tell us about your other fall sports. How's it going?
Going well. Our volleyball always does well. They're always very competitive. I mean, they were undefeated. Last time we had a regular season, they were undefeated in SSL. So our volleyball is always competitive. Our girls' tennis, we host a tennis tournament actually here tomorrow and the next day here in that Golden Valley, but they do well, and cross country, we're a young team there as well, and girls golf took third today in the SSL.
Nice.
So we're not a golfing community out here, but we get the girls exposed and get them turned on to the game of golf. Yeah.
Ralph, thanks for your time. I know you got a lot going on tonight. As the AD, when you make it all the way up here and you climb all the way up the stairs, it means a lot to all of us here at the Kern High Network. And thank you so much for welcoming us and making this a great night. The place looks fabulous. The school looks fantastic.
Yeah, Vance, thank you for being out here. We appreciate you out here.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Right. That is the athletic director. And it must be providential, divine power that Ralph has. They fumbled out there, almost lost the ball. Ralph, thank you, buddy. So we finally got him up here. We didn't know we were going to get him, and he finally kind of popped up through the hatch, and good to have him here. So Ralph Gonzalez, 16 years as the athletic director, graduating class of 73 Carson. He said the same thing, Kenny. Every time he came out here, he knew he was in for a battle. So we're starting here in the third quarter, and a huge third down for this Arvin High defense right here. If North High School struggles here and has to boot the ball because they are at the 34-yard line, if they have to put this ball up in the air, off a foot, boy, that'd be a great start to this third quarter for Arvin.
Absolutely, because it finally gives the Arvin defense a chance to match the offensive efforts. But now you got to step, and that's a
a drop pass. It was intended out there for Zarian Wallace Foreman, but they're going to call pass interference on Jesus Rojas. And I think Rojas hit him just enough to have it be a PI. And, oh, man.
How about that ball, though, VP? That was put exactly where it needed to go and should have been caught, even with the contact.
Well, the upside, it was a touchdown-saving PI.
Oh, and talk about unfortunate events. You got them 3rd and 6. Hoping to get back into this football game.
And Jesus Rojas down. He came off the sidelines, and he is down. So he was not only called for the PI, he was banged up a little bit. So now here comes North High School in midfield after the personal interference call.
Yeah, and sometimes you wonder if it's pride or physical when a guy gives up a penalty. But now you got to hitch route, and he caught that and turned outside like a pro, finishing the run. And that's a great job by Zarian Foreman Wallace.
So, man, Wallace Foreman, the entire North High sidelines went bonkers after the catch because he delivered the punishment at the end of the play.
Yes, he did. And the way he caught that football, he spinned out. He looked a little like Tim Brown or Sterling Sharp. Look him up.
Man, he delivered some pain at the end of that. Now it's 1st and 10, North High School on the Arvin 40-yard line.
Yeah, and they're rolling now, VP, and now they're going with an option look. Quarterback's going to keep it. He still gets about a good hard 4.
And I'll tell you what, that's a nice play call right there because you've seen pretty much everything they can do so far with regards to giving it to Markai. Right, left, center, whatever. He's going to do what he's going to do. And they've also had success handing the ball off to other players. But with Bennett on a, kind of a read option keep, it's a whole nother dimension that now Edgar Maris and his Bears are going to have to deal with. The White Hat calls his own timeout.
And to your point, VP, that's the first option look I've seen them run. It was very successful for about 4. 2nd and 6. Shotgun spread set.
And they give it to that dude.
Still pushing the Powell. Look at the strength in the legs of Shaw, and they're not blowing the whistle because he's still moving forward. He is still actually moving forward, and you got Arvin Bears standing around while he's continuing to push the Powell.
Look like rugby.
Past the sticks. Wow.
Look like rugby.
Definitely look like rugby, but I'm going to tell you, we talked about how strong this kid is. That was a perfect example of that because they kept that play going for another 4 seconds when he had like 10 people on him. Wow.
North High chewing up some time here, too. They're up 14, and we're already at the 8:17 mark, so they're grinding up some clock as well as some yardage here. So, again, the quarterback is the sophomore Carson Bennett, and he's managed a really, really nice game. Now he wants to go to the air. Looks in the corner for Wallace Foreman. Wallace Foreman makes a diving catch, and it's a touchdown,
wow.
North High School. What a pass by the sophomore. What a pass by the sophomore. Great route, great catch, but boy, was that thing put on the money to Zarian Wallace Foreman. Wow.
Zarian Wallace Foreman put on the show that drive. He had a few catches, but ultimately he ran right by that DB and caught that one with great coverage for about a 45-yard touchdown.
And look, you see Richie Bolin talking to Wallace Foreman. Bolin's a big guy. He's a big head coach, and he's eye to eye with Wallace Foreman. Then you have Nathaniel Arias coming in. He's number 44. He's got to be all of 6'5". And then you've got Markai Shaw, the bruising running back. This is a football team on the move, everybody. Look out.
Right, and you wouldn't think that they would be 0-2 coming into this football game the way they look offensively.
The PAT's up, and it's good, made by Siffing. He got knocked down, but no flag. So the first score of the third quarter, it's North High School, and they have scored 35 straight points on straight drives. And we do have some stats on the first half. Kenny, if you could break those out, because Ralph came up to talk to us, and we're going to do some first half stats. So here's Kenny Calvin with some numbers from the first half. We'd have to add that one onto it now, but what's your numbers?
Absolutely. Well, you had Arvin with 23 carries on the ground for 164. Moreno, who's averaging 90 yards a game, had 11 carries for 79 yards in the first half. It's a reflection of how well the Arvin offense was playing early when they were up 14-7. If you go to the other side, North High, they had 15 carries for 153 yards, but some of those yards were taken away in sack yardage because you had Shaw that had 11 carries for 156 in the first half. This dude's on his way to 300 yards. Moving down to passing, it's not a huge passing contest, but
not really.
Arvin's 3 of 7 for 46 yards. North High doing a pretty good job being consistent, 5 of 7 passing it when they need to, with 49 yards in the first half. We got one turnover on the North High side that kind of led to the deflation of what's happening tonight, the fumble on the kickoff return. And now 5 unanswered touchdowns by the North High Stars. That's some amazing coaches to get your guys to not give up on themselves when you're down 14-7 and score 5 unanswered touchdowns.
Our thanks to the one and only Stephen Lynchmob for those statistics. I'll see Steve tomorrow night at the Bakersfield College volleyball. Steve and I will be up on the hill for the Renegades while all you guys are doing Friday Night Lights. Here it is. It's inbounds, it stayed inbounds, and it's taken at the 15-yard line by Moreno. Moreno trying to get outside,
nice.
And good job by that North High defense or the kicking team. So now it's 7:55 left in the third, and, we always try to not be cliche-ish announcers, but, boy, is this a must-score drive. They've got to make something happen here for the Bears.
Absolutely.
Has to happen. Another Bear down, and we've seen that more than we want to see it ever. A lot of these young, smaller guys are down, and we talked about that with the athletic director, Ralph Gonzalez. 16 years he's been here, and there's 16 sophomores in this lineup, and we talked to him about that, and he goes, well, I'd like to say that it was, a really smooth transition. It was like, hey, guess what? You're going up. You're playing on varsity. Well, excuse me, sir? You're playing on varsity. 7:55. And that's good to see. Looks like this Bear is going to be up here in just a second.
One of the things that's tough about a young football team, they're going to have some talent, but ultimately they haven't built the maturity to be able to fight through the mistakes. And that's kind of the microcosm of this football game, because talent-wise, when you look on the field, Arvin was doing very well competing early, but after a couple of mental mistakes, that momentum just continued to disappear.
I want to thank all of the great people at Arvin High School for welcoming us in tonight. Principal Ed Watts. We spoke with Athletic Director Ralph Gonzalez, the trainer Ramon Carrillo, head coach Edgar Mares, Chris Carlos, Robert Riley, Vic Garcia. And the Bears going to try to do some work on the ground here, and they're getting nothing. I want to thank all of our superintendents at the Kern High School District, of course, our main man, Stan Green. And thank you to Valley Strong for making all this happen, and a Thursday night game and 2 Friday night games for the Kern 9 Network. I mean, I did a lot of traveling over the last month, Kenny, in my day job. I was just all over the western United States. And I'd check out the sports sections, and I'd look around. I'd try to see what was going on and see what's happening. There's no Kern 9 Network up there, man. This was nice. Man. This is nice.
We are blessed to be part of this process.
7:15 left in the third. Big lead for North. 2nd and 9 for the Bears. They have got to get something going here. That's a nice play right there. Hey, that's a good cutback right there and a good run by Freddie Pulido. So there's one of the sophomores, Freddie Pulido. That's a great run right there.
Absolutely, and we talked about it. They have the athletes to get it done. It's just learning how to play mistake-free football at this juncture, because you got 6:55 left to play in this third quarter. You get a score here, 35-21, with about 3 to 5 minutes left to play in the third quarter. That's you're in the game, but you need to get something out of this drive, like you said. 1st and 10 for the Bears.
Sarabia, still the QB in the shotgun. They sweep it around. Noriega. Can Noriega get out of bounds? He cannot. Great job by that defense by North High. Followed it up, closed it up, and had nowhere to go, really.
Yeah, William Mudge doing a great job getting sideline to sideline along with Kason Rush. Just great when you got guys willing to keep flying around. And that's really how they got back in this football game, flying around on the defensive end and special teams. 2nd and 12 for the Bears. They've stayed in that wing set pretty consistently.
Lost a couple. Under 6 to go in this third quarter. Well, the Bears have got to make something happen. I think he's going to start slipping away from them. Sarabia on the far hash. He's got a little bit of time and went ahead and threw it out. And how about this? This turns into an actual gainer.
He out
Look
here.
out. Are you kidding me? Noriega gets knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line inside Stars territory. But I'll tell you what, Daniel Noriega made a lot happen with that play, KC.
Yes, he did. Low pass. Made about 5 people miss. If it wasn't for Maxwell Partain having some speed, the senior, that might have went to the house.
Did you say Partain?
Partain.
Sean Partain, if you're out there watching. Hello, Sean.
22 yards on the play, 1st and 10.
How about that? Inside Star territory, 1st and 10 from the North High 44-yard line. That was a huge play for the Bears.
Absolutely.
Low snap again, and that's trouble. And just that not the most crisp snap coming to Sarabia. He's kind of having to go down and get it and scoop it up. Doesn't seem like a lot, but boy, you can throw your timing off.
Yeah, they're fortunate to get 2 out of that because it should have been a loss. You know, and like we said, these Arvin Bears aren't just going to roll over. They're going to continue to fight hard, but they just got to minimize the mistakes to have a chance. 2nd and 8.
How about the Greider family?
Salute to Chad, my linebacker.
His dad, Dallas.
Shout out to my coach.
Uncle Keith, toughest dude I ever knew. How about this? Looks good. Can they make something happen here? And, oh, what a good play by Jonathan Moreno. Thought he was going to step out of bounds. Oh, flag on the play, though.
Yeah, you brought up Coach Greider. I heard he wasn't doing too well a few months back, but then I talked to Chad, and he said he was hanging on and still in good spirits. And, you know, so definitely want to send a special shout-out to the Greider family.
I'd go pick up Keith to go ref junior high games. On Saturdays, we go over to Fairfax or Haven Drive, or we go to Thompson or Norris, and we go ref these junior high games in football. Keith Greider and I pick him up on a Saturday morning. He could barely move his hands. He was just such a tough
Now you're
dude.
talking West High history, too.
Yep.
Hey, look, Greider's from Arvin. All right, Kevin, you can try. You can try.
You got to slip it in there once in a while.
Kevin, you talk about a force. West High School with all that. I mean, you know, look, we're regaling right now, Kern County, so deal with it. But got some good football down in front of our eyeballs here, too. A 2nd and 12. Tough call against the Bears right there. They're starting to move the ball and a holding call. So 4:26 left here in the third. They go to the right side with it. He tries to cut up, and he just gets buried by Andon Sampson. Sampson was waiting for it.
Now, I'm usually encouraging running backs to try to get it upfield, but he actually had the edge right there.
I thought if he just kept on going, he'd pick up something, but he no gain. And it's going to be 3rd and 12. Fellas, is that actually a cool breeze that we feel?
That was my nickname as a kid.
Cool breeze.
Cool breeze.
I had a friend from England I called Cool Breeze.
My childhood nickname.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that. I had a very, very good friend from my worldly travels called Cool Breeze. I didn't know that. All right, Kenneth. I'm going to stop calling you Kenneth and start calling you Cool Breeze. Here we go. Going to the air.
Oh,
he's got a man. Oh, he overthrows it. Just overthrows it. Just a hair. He was going for Noriega. And I'll tell you what, Partain came in to make a play on the ball, but man, nice tight spiral. He spun that thing 45 yards.
Absolutely. Maxwell doing a great job being the last line of defense because that looked like a good ball, and he had about 4 steps on the corner. Nonetheless, incomplete. 4th and 13.
All right, we're going to have to punt the ball. Here's some more Arvin names for you. The Longmires.
Ooh.
The Rosales clan. Are you kidding me? The Woods Edition Rosales clan. They taught me how to play hoop. We go in this Arvin High gym after church on Sundays and play till 7 o'clock at night.
Nice.
Low snap. Nobody even trying to rush it. A wobbler. And not a bad one. Gets down to about the 16-yard line. So
Number 18, Moises Lopez, down to 5.
as much as we are going back in time and talking about all the good times out here at Arvin, we do want to let you know we've got some stuff coming up this week, tomorrow night. Kenny and Rick Van Horn will be at Miramonte. It's Tranquility against Miramonte. Frontier at Independence with Titan Tom, and Rich Cornford.
Got some stacked talent in this Kern High Network staff, man. You start stacking up the stats and accolades between our staff, man, I might take our staff against anybody's.
Some talented dudes and me. 1st and 10. High snap. He goes up to get it, and that slowed down Shaw enough. You don't see that every day. What a great move and great tackle out there by Michael Garcia. Garcia just used he just batted the hands through and jumped on Shaw because Bennett had to go up and grab the snap. It was a high snap, and that gave Garcia that 1 extra second to catch up with Shaw because Shaw had to stop. He basically had to stop running for a second.
Well, as an Arvin defense, you're going to have to take some extra chances to try to get some turnovers right now because time is not your friend. 2:34 remaining, or 2:52 remaining to play in the third quarter. You're running out of time. Got to create some turnovers.
And it's got to happen right now. So he splits it out, sends everybody outside. He's got Shaw on his left hip, though. We're talking about Carson Bennett. Bennett, the sophomore, takes the snap. Might throw it to Shaw. He does.
Oh.
Shaw falls down at the 20-yard line, or he would have easily had the first down. Beautiful screenplay, and Shaw just kind of snuck through the line and was waiting for it. And had he not lost his footing, he may still be going.
Yeah, and that's that youth in those legs, because he's a heavy guy on that frame. A little more lower body squat work during the offseason, and he'll be chopping out next time because he had about 40, 50 yards of daylight in front of him. Nonetheless, 3rd and 6 for the Stars. North High coming out in that trips open set. And traditionally, we've seen them do some things in the passing game, but now they're struggling to get lined up, and we're going to have a timeout here.
So timeout with 1:49 remaining in the third quarter. It's been a really good football game. I mean, you're talking about 49 points scored in the 3 quarters, and it's not even over. An electric North High School offense with a sophomore quarterback in Carson Bennett, a superstar in the making in Markai Shaw, and a great line in the defense. Kind of the unsung hero tonight is this North High School defense. And Arvin, they struck first. They would just methodically just plotted down the field and got on the board first, and they scored again in their second possession. So they had some bright spots. But with 1:49 left in the third, and Coach Richie Boland has these North High Stars playing very, very well. Okay, Kenny, a couple quick questions.
Yes, sir.
We called the Bakersfield College football game the other day against El Camino. Your thoughts on our Renegades? And the reason I tie them into our Kern High Network broadcast is because we're all kind of interwoven together, right? So
Absolutely.
Tell us about the Renegades.
I mean, so many Kern High Network all-stars playing on that Renegade football team, and that was the beautiful experience for me, was just seeing a collective group of kids that we covered over the last 4 years getting their chance to shine on that $17 million field we have. Some highlight. I love the way that Dylan Tooker performed in the secondary. Defensive line played very well. Brock Mather was bringing the hat all night.
They want to go up top with it, and they get it out to Gonzalez. Gonzalez has a ton of room. Nice tackle from behind, and that was Joaquin Corici, but not enough. They got a first down.
Yeah, that actually was a touchdown-saving tackle. And now we got Arvin Bear, Jesus Rojas limping off again. This is his third time to the sideline. Nonetheless, it's going to be 1st and 10 for the North Stars heading south with 1:22 remaining to play in the third quarter. Arvin's going to need to do something to create a turnover because the body language itself is starting to reflect that the Stars are rolling.
You can see it.
1st and 10.
1st and 10, as he said, 33-yard line. Fumble! Falls on the ground!
There it is!
Oh! So Bennett jumps on it, and boy, those Arvin Bears were all over it. Adrian Smith wanted a piece of it. Andres Alcaraz wanted a piece of it. Ooh, scary play there.
That was the one they needed. I mean, woo! North Stars dodged the bullet. And now they're just going to take their time. They're over there checking with Coast to see what they're going to run. They're going to have to run a play here. 2nd and 14. That play clock has to be getting low right now, and they may be in danger of getting a delay of game. And they're doing a countdown now. Shotgun spread set against a man coverage look for the Bears.
2nd and 14. Bennett wants to keep on himself and just kind of make a decent play to get him out of trouble, but he does not. Nice play by those Arvin Bears, and that will do it. I believe that's going to do it for the third quarter. 35-14, the end of three. We'll step away from the camera and the microphone for just a quick break. End of three, North High up, 35-14 on the Kern High Network over the Arvin Bears.
Gets the ball down to the 31-yard line, get up 2 yards on the play.
We are these fields. We are these roots. We see the beauty in the everyday, with pride from where we came. We look ahead, to the places that pull us together, to the places that we call home. A new chapter begins now. Kern Schools Federal Credit Union is now Valley Strong Credit Union. Grow your possibilities. Visit valleystrong.com/grow to learn more.
Welcome back to Kern High Network Football, live from Arvin Bear Country. The North Stars up 35-14 as we start the fourth quarter. And that looks like a lateral, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be caught. He breaks one, miss, and makes another. And oh, my goodness, across the 50.
Wow.
Wow, so you take a lateral pass that's thrown behind the line of scrimmage, behind the receiver, or running back, I should say, and he does a fantastic job making three guys miss, turning something out of nothing. Making something out of nothing. 1st and 10, North Stars.
It's ball across midfield and down to the Arvin 42-yard line. First down, North.
You know, and that's the reflection of the body language that I was just talking about from the Arvin Bears standpoint. You have a guy basically contained in the backfield, and you allow him to get the edge. Now they hand off to Shaw, and oh, he makes one.
Oh, man,
miss.
here we go.
Still on his feet, makes another miss. Jesus.
The big fella.
Wow.
Number 1, Markai Shaw on the carry.
Markai Shaw with the amazing vision. Sticks his foot in the ground.
This young man.
Chops out for 30 yards. And that may take him close to 200 yards on the night.
28 yards on the play.
28-yard gain, 1st and 10 for the Stars. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I played with some great running backs. Steve Wofford, George Jones, Mike Gray. This Shaw is looking special.
Look out. And they give it to him again. Said, find the end zone, please. And flag on the play. Maybe a hold right in a scrimmage.
Holding.
Yeah, they got him early in the play. You could see it. He drug down one of the Arvin Bears. So right now the Stars knocking on the door, looking to get in.
Penalty is 10 yards.
But that'll slow him down just a little bit. 35-14 is the score. Hope you're enjoying this nice football game here on the Kern High Network. We're way out in Arvin High School. We're the Garden in the Sun. Beautiful Arvin High. But North High School has come from Oildale, and they're up 21. A battle of the red and whites. If you're just getting to your screen, Arvin on the left side and the full red tops. North High School, the red bottoms on your right.
Nostalgic matchup as well.
They go to the corner with it. They toss
nice
it.
Catch.
And it's to the big fella, and he just breaks off everybody. And Zarion Wallace-Foreman.
Touchdown, North.
And Arvin Bear went out there, attempted to get him on the thighs. And that didn't work. Touchdown, North High School.
That's the second hitch route that he's taken and spent and wheeled outside to where he looks like a man amongst boys.
Yeah, that was an attempt to bring him down.
Wow.
A little too high.
Well, I'm going to just tell you once again, I've said it multiple times. With the magnitude of talent they had in the backfield and on that edge and that receiver, I'm surprised they're coming in 0-2.
A lot of that, as Coach Boland told me, was COVID-related. And
is
no good, so they missed the PAT. So he did say, hey, look, we're as healthy as we can be. Got one guy down, but at least we're all here now. So now we're getting a good look at the North High School football team with, quote-unquote, a full roster, Kenny, and they look really, really good. And it's not just all Markai Shaw. It's a lot of Markai Shaw, but it's some other players. But how about the sophomore quarterback doing a great job tonight?
Absolutely. Coming in, I asked our young man to the right of us who was the player to watch, and Carson Bennett was the first name out of his mouth. He is a sophomore, but nonetheless, he's done a great job being very balanced, not forcing anything. They only have, well, matter of fact, I take that back. They don't have any turnovers. They played a nice, efficient football game without making mistakes, and that's how they've taken advantage here tonight.
Richie Boland took over the North High program not too long ago, and he's done some great things with it. In his early head coaching career in the South Yosemite League. Edgar Mares, 30th overall year coaching here for the Bears, 21st as a head coach. And Edgar is one of the more beloved Arvin figures. Golf tournaments, fundraisers, and he's a legend. Kick is taken at the 13-yard line by Noriega. Noriega looking for some room. Gets up to about the 30-yard line. So,
number 4, Daniel Noriega on the kickoff.
You watching the 40-yard line too?
Oh.
A little extracurricular out
Evan
there.
Sipping was having a quick chat with Kevin Delgadillo. We may talk for a minute, and actually Sipping tried to say, hey, nice hit, nice hit. And Delgadillo wanted a little bit more, but
it's a little bit of his pride getting to him as he looks up at that scoreboard with 10:22 to play.
Another one of the sophomores that's just up there, glad to be part of the team, happy to be up there playing varsity. So here come the Bears. They got to make something happen immediately here in the fourth quarter. They toss one out here, and it's caught. Nice play.
Oh, huge hit.
Good pop, but
wow.
Ricci
And he's hurt.
It. Oh.
Oh, my goodness. Amazing hit by Evan Sipping.
So Sipping
wow.
brought the hit in on Carici. Carici's back up, and it might just be that cramp. Looks like the training staff just kind of tilting that leg back.
Get up 9 yards on the play.
I want to say a special hello to Mike Gomez. Mike Gomez, the official statistician down on the field, one of the coaching staff members, a long-time photographer. He took photos for the Arvin Tiller and Lamont Reporter for about 30 years. Mike, great to see you, bud.
Oh, my goodness.
And that was one of the bigger fellows we were talking about there, that Kason Rush, number 44, and boy, did he rush. There's some big guys out there right now. There's some bigger, stronger dudes out on the team in the white jerseys.
Yeah, the experience is starting to pay off for the Stars. We talked about how young the Arvin Bears football team is. They have some talent, but a lot of heads hanging down and a lot of bad body language with 9 minutes to play. And the Stars are smelling blood in the water. 3rd and inches. Low snap. Oh, and that's a huge hole.
Yeah, big run. Nice job out there. Good run by Chris Carlos. Nice job, Chris.
You know, and as we're talking about how well everybody else is playing, how about the offensive line of the Arvin Bears? They have done some things successfully in the running game. We talked about them having 100-plus rushing yards early, and they have sophomores on the offensive line.
3 of them are sophomores. 3 of the offensive linemen are sophomores. So, again, it's a storyline that we've used tonight. Coach Mares might not be as ecstatic about it as others are, but the future of the Bears looking good simply because they had to bring all these players up. They go to the left side, and it's going to be taken to the left side. He better hurry. He better get on his horse.
Goodness.
Yeah, that was Daniel Noriega. Looked like he got to he slowed down a little bit. Not a good idea.
Yeah, and you're trying to go east-west against a team that's just faster than you right now. Got to find a way to put that foot in the ground and get upfield. Because you lose 3 to 4, you know, no game's better than a loss. So got to fight your way back to that line of scrimmage as soon as possible. 2nd and 13 for the Bears. Single high safety look for the Stars, and the Bears are in that classic traditional wing T set. And they going right back to that end around power, and this has probably been their most successful play.
Yep.
6-yard gain. And it looks like 3rd and about 5 for the Bears. And at this point, I'm not understanding why you would even think about punting in the 4th quarter where you're trailing. Nonetheless, 3rd and 5.
Sarabia, been the QB all night long. Another low snap, goes down to get it, gives it to Moreno. Moreno cuts up. How about this, everybody? To the 35, gets shoved out of bounds about the 32-yard line. Kenny, you've talked about it all night long. There are times they look great on offense.
Yeah, you know, because they have the personnel from a skills position perspective. It's just finding a way to continue drives. You know, Moreno's averaging 100 yards per game, and he's well over 100 yards tonight after that carry. But ultimately, no matter how skillful you are, you have to find ways to play mistake-free football against better football teams. And tonight, North High appears to be the better football team.
Got knocked out of bounds with 6:58 remaining here in the 4th quarter. 55 total points scored tonight, 41 of them by North. They'll be pretty happy to get on that bus and drive all the way back to the north side with a very nice performance tonight with Coach Bowen. They toss it up in the air, and it's incomplete. That'll stop the clock, and that'll make it 2nd and 10. Again, tomorrow night, don't miss the Kern High Network. We've got games that we're offering. We want to make sure you catch these games.
Number 6, Julian Rodriguez, the intended receiver.
We got Kenny and Rick Van Horn as a timeout call by the officials. We have another bear down over there. So Kenny and Rick Van Horn will be at Miramonte. That'll be an interesting game. Tranquility at Miramonte. And then Tom Myers and Rich Cornford will be with Kevin Willey at Independence. And our very own Javier Valdez will be on the keyboards tomorrow night at Miramonte. So you better behave. You got one of the bosses.
I had a good one at Independence. At Stockdale, shocked Independence. Independence is currently 0-4. If you saw them as a football team, you wouldn't assume that they were 0-4. They have some talent. Denmark is a very athletic quarterback. They just haven't found ways to finish football games. And Stockdale did a great job of finishing a football game that they almost lost last
week. Rick and I and Kevin did that Independence game a couple weeks ago at Centennial. They were in it late, and Rick said going into the game, this is the best 0-2 team you're going to find. I don't know if Coach Schillhauber wants to be noted as the best 0-4 team, because you start to get 0-4 and the doubts will creep in. But you're right, they do have the talent. They do have some talented players out there. 6:53 remaining in this 4th quarter. It's 41-14. The North High School Stars are really playing some really inspired football tonight. We have a bear that's down. We'll take a short break and hop off the mic just for a second here on the Kern High Network.
We are these fields. We are these roots. We see the beauty in the everyday, with pride from where we came. We look ahead, to the places that pull us together, to the places that we call home. A new chapter begins now. Kern Schools Federal Credit Union is now Valley Strong Credit Union. Grow your possibilities. Visit valleystrong.com/grow to learn more.
Welcome back to Kern High Network Football. 6:53 remaining in the 4th quarter, right behind Bear Mountain. 2nd and 10 for the Bears.
Can you see Julian Rodriguez being helped off? North High School is starting to beat up on the Bears a little. He is really banged up.
Ball at the 31.
Low snap taken by Sarabia, and he turns it into a really nice gain up to the 19-yard line and a first down. Nice job by Anthony Sarabia. I'll tell you what, you've got a senior quarterback that's had to hang in there through all of this COVID stuff, and he's, taken every snap tonight, managed the offense as well as he could. And on a big play like that, another player comes off the field banged up, and Sarabia goes in and has a 12-yard gain. And there's a handoff to Chris Carlos.
Chris Carlos on the carry. Stop made by number 9.
So if you're Richie Bolin right now, you got to be feeling pretty good about things.
Absolutely. You're finally seeing things click. I wasn't able to see the scores that they had over the past few weeks, or maybe I did. But ultimately, they came out today, clicking on all cylinders. We'll try to see if we can get a beat on how they performed in previous weeks.
Moises Lopez way out to the left side. He's almost at the North High sidelines. They give it again to Moreno. And Moreno, he's been banged up all night long. And Jonathan Moreno, the junior running back DB, he just keeps coming. He's been helped off the field a couple of times, helped up a couple of times, and he just keeps coming at you.
Gets the ball down to the 9-yard line.
It's good to see that they're continuing to fight and not give up. Every rep is an opportunity to get better. You got 5 minutes remaining to play in the fourth quarter in a game that's out of reach, but this is a non-league game. You still have opportunities to figure out who you are as a staff and as an organization before you get into league play.
First and goal from the 9 for the Bears. Just over 5 minutes remaining. Run right up the middle, a strong run by Chris Carlos, and they're getting close. They are at the door. How about this for a football team? The 1979 Arvin Bears, the graduating class of 80, by the way.
Wow.
At quarterback, Mike Duncan. At tight end, Kevin Young. Willie Reneveld, offensive, defensive lineman. Keith Greider, a sophomore.
Wow.
Jeff Showers and Danny Tarver in the backfield. Scotty McEwen. You're talking about some super studs. Brian Patrick on that team, and they beat the West High Vikings 7-6 with a halftime goal line stance.
Wow.
Mike Gomez and I were at BHS on your field. You talk about a team and a game. That was something else. How about this? Can he get in the end zone? I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to do it. He gets in. That is Kevin Cordova. Touchdown, Bears.
Great job by the Bears continuing to use that talent that they have in specialty positions. And they did that pretty much the whole first quarter. It was just something that happened after that turnover in the kicking game that deflated their momentum. Nonetheless, we got a 20-point game, 21-point game with a PAT to come.
All right, Arvin, ROTC out there with the cheerleaders. If this goes through, they're going to have to do 21 push-ups. And is it? Did it go? It did. So the PAT is good. 41-21. So ROTC, 21 push-ups, please. 4:17 remaining in this fourth quarter. You're watching the Kern High Network. I'm Vance Palm alongside Kenny Calvin, Kevin Willie. North High School has really come to play. They make this long drive from the north part of Bakersfield all the way out here to Arvin. It's probably about a 40-minute these days with traffic. And they perform quite well for head coach Richie Bowl. If you're Edgar Mars, you're going to go to 1-3 overall, but saw some bright spots for their league play coming up in the SSL. We're in week 5, really like a week 4 plus a 0 week, so we've got a few more weeks before we get into league. Kenny, your thoughts on and it's kind of hard to kind of get a real true reading on what we've seen and what we haven't seen. I don't know where the Drillers are at. I don't know really where Liberty's at other than they just dominate everybody, but I really haven't seen them play yet. Haven't seen Highland play yet. I haven't seen East play yet. There's a lot of teams I personally haven't seen because I've been calling games on the west side, but it'll be an interesting year.
I've had some of those other games, but the biggest thing that came out of your mouth is Drillers. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a former Driller, but just because of what's happened over the last few weeks. You lose a legend in Coach Stewart. For whatever reason and whatever happened, he's no longer the guy. You have a quality guy in Rashawn Sheehy who's already established as a girls basketball coach and former pro football player and former Trojan who I played against. taking over at the helm. So what does he do? Immediately, he calls in for reinforcements. He calls my cousin, Daniel Calvin, to coach defensive ends.
I thought I was going to see your name. I thought I might see your name and say, hold, he's with us. He's with us. He's with us.
Man, my wife and daughter said I cannot coach nothing until she's done with high school.
Smart ladies.
You know, I dedicated 6 years of my life to the game and about $30,000 a year out of my pocket.
So, after this kickoff return, I want you to keep going with that thought of what's going on at BHS, and it might be longer than we think. Oh, how about Evan Siffing? What a game for Evan Siffing. Keep going with this thought on the drillers.
Well, you know, we got to talk about it. Bakersfield High School, one of the most winningest football team in the state, going through a historic coaching change in the middle of a season, which I don't know if it's ever happened that way. But, you know, you lose Coach Stewart, Coach Sheehy comes in. He immediately calls for reinforcements, hires my cousin Daniel Calvin, former driller, Renegade, and K-State, all Big 12. Steve Wofford, who was my high school running back and California leading rusher in the 90s, as well as a few other jewels in the rough to kind of bring that nostalgia back and at least gives the players some people to look at like, wow, I remember seeing that guy's picture, to inspire them to try to play. So hopefully that translates to some good football. I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Great take on that. It's going to be pretty interesting. 1st and 10 for the Stars.
Now they're finally playing some reserves.
Brody Napier, there's a North High School name that will live in legendom. Brody Napier, junior running back, linebacker.
Classic family name. A lot of these guys, you know, that were older than me were flies on the wall when I was a player, coming in as staff, assisting with Coach Chudy. Had an amazing story told to me by Jeff Showers today, that he was actually a spotter for a Renegade football team that played an Allen Hancock team where we won 50-48. And I was a player in that game that caught a fake punt for a 65-yard touchdown, and he remembered that play. He told me that today.
2nd and 8 for the Stars. Carson Bennett, the quarterback, has had a great night.
Yes, he has. Very mature.
Hands the ball off a running play. Next time you see Jeff, do me a favor. Say, what's up, Pittsburgh?
I got you.
That's all you have to say. He's going to say,
will.
he's going to say, all right. It's either got to be Vancer. You either heard that from Vancer or somebody in Arvin. And talk about names. Let's talk about the North High School names. I mean, how many great North High names are out there that played against Arvin on this field? There's been some unbelievable matchups with Jimmy Mitchell to start it off. Damon Culbertson out here playing. The Tony Napier. You're talking about some superstars out here.
My Renegade quarterback, Danny Henry, was somewhat of a star when he was a North High leader. High snap.
Bruce Walton throwing BBs on that mound right there against the Arvin Bears. I mean, you watch Walton going against Mike Duncan. That was a matchup forever. And then you see Mike hit a baseball that lands out here. It would land out here on the 30-yard line.
And that's why they paid him the big bucks.
2:11. Timeout taken. Both coaches want to go over some stuff with their players. I don't mind this at all. You'd think, okay, they're up 20, it's over, or they're down 20. 2:11. Coach Mara says, look, I want to talk to these guys for a little bit and see where they're at and remind them of a couple things that, look, we're late in the game here, but we have league coming up. So sometimes you take these timeouts to kind of make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah, and take care, Coach. Great
job, Coach. Nice job tonight, buddy.
You know, it's always an honor. I laughed about how hard it is as commentators to commentate next to coaching staffs, because we got to keep it as real as it gets. We call it how we see it, and sometimes coaches ain't happy with that.
Sometimes, dude, I've been doing this over 20 years in Kern County. I've called my nephew's games. I've called a lot of dudes' games, and you just have to call it like you see it. And I'll see them in the grocery store. And
right, they jamming us up.
Oh, you kidding me? I'll never forget one game at North. A young man from South High had about 590 yards, and we gave him player of the game, but North won. And I had some really good friends mad at me for a long time, man. I had to live with it. But this coach, he was 6'3", 270 tonight, so we just said, nice job, Coach. Oh, he bobbles.
He touched that.
He tries to pick it up, and really ill-advised play. He tried to scoop it up off the ground, and that turned out really, really bad for the Bears. And now all of a sudden, you've got the Stars on a 1st and goal from the 10-yard line. So really with 2 minutes left in the game, that's the last thing Coach Myers wanted to see was a mental error on a wobbly punt that just rolled all over the place. They thought they were going to get the ball back, and instead it's 1st and goal from the 10 for the Stars.
And that's one of the things that happens when the body language is ready to leave the field when there's still minutes on the clock.
Well, plus they just call a timeout. They just call a timeout to go through these things, to go through these processes. The last thing they wanted was that.
You know, and also as a player who gets an opportunity to return punts.
Yeah.
You know, everybody wants that job. So you have to take advantage of your opportunities every time.
Flag on the play, and it's going to be against the North High Stars, a false start.
Offense. 5-yard penalty.
Well, VP, we had a highly contested game early in the first quarter. It looked like it was going to be a good one. 14-7, 14 or 21-14. But the Stars just picked it up, and they just hit another level and kept going.
Okay, you guys ready? You got your rim shot, Kevin? The Stars came out to play in Marquez Shaw.
That play broken up in the backfield.
Absolutely. Marquez Shaw was a breath of fresh air tonight.
24, Brody Napier,
Zarion Wallace-Foreman definitely was a bright spot. You know, he only had about 4 or 5 catches, but I think he had over 100 yards with those 4 or 5. But just amazing play from top to bottom from a North High Stars team. Andon Sampson, he had the biggest hit of the night over here on the 30-yard line as he flew through. And Evan Siffing, he also played some quality football on the defensive side of the football. But just, you know, we love to see this for teams that have the potential and haven't got off to great starts, because it shows promise as we're entering league play.
2nd and 8. How about this? Bear defense just gang tackling Brody Napier. Napier met by 5 or 6 Bears.
Number 24,
and we are under a minute. Maybe one more play, possibly.
You know, North has some potential. Guys have done great on the inside as well. I want to definitely highlight Shuffletowski, Braden Shuffletowski.
Yeah,
he had a nice game as well, a sophomore. Look out for this kid. He's one of the biggest people on the field playing left tackle right now.
Looks like it might be the last play of the game, and I think that you're going to see Carson Bennett just kind of wrap it up. So, Kenny, your take on this game, and we'll close it up.
It's just exciting to see the history of this matchup continue. Arvin definitely has some promise. Half of their roster is sophomores. They show some sparks early. You know, hopefully that youth and experience that they earned tonight pays off for them in the future, but the North Stars came to play.
Love being out here. It's great to be back at my alma mater where I grew up, where so much of my life structure and success and happiness is from. Thank you, Arvin High, for bringing us in tonight. We appreciate it. On behalf of Kevin Willie, Kenny Calvin, myself, Vance Palm, and everybody at Arvin High School, thank you for being a part of Kern High Network tonight. A big win, 41-21. The North High School Stars under head coach Richie Boland do a big number on the Arvin Bears. Great night.